So the idea of having this short talk is to try to have a discussion also. So you are all welcome to give me your input. So today we like to talk about four things, and everything I'm doing, it is from how to start a startup. So I invite you to go there and have the full lecture about it. So this is mixing two lectures actually, but I think we can do it all together in one. So we'll talk about four things: idea, product, team, and execution. We believe that those things need to be somehow in order, but this is something you can share. I mean, some of you have experience about starting different companies, so I think it's good that we have at least a discussion about it. Okay? Idea. Idea. We think the idea, it is probably one of the most important things. In the beginning, I thought ideas didn't matter. So if you have a good team, idea, it will be okay, and maybe we will pivot from that idea to another one. But the more I see the startups, I think the idea is very important in the beginning. And I think that most of the good startups of the world started with a very good idea. Or they shifted because of the founder's needs somehow. But the idea for me is more and more key into it. So if you have a great product or a great team, and if the idea is not good enough, I don't think it is. So take a while until you think this is a great idea. Again, the idea comes first. Some people think, okay, first I will try to look for a group of people to create a startup, and then the idea will come back. But I think the idea should be the first thing you have in mind. Still, this is something that it resonates with me, maybe not with you. And okay, this is something that is also very interesting. When you're starting a startup or a company, you need to feel that you are in a very important mission. And what is that? Is that you will get a lot of people working or helping you if it is a part of a very important mission. So it's easier to start companies with an important mission than other companies that doesn't have to have an important mission. Like a difficult thing to accomplish. Something. People will say, okay, this is crazy, but I'll help you out anyhow, because I think it makes more sense. This is also something that applies to Bolt itself. Why? Because there are a lot of people that think that trying to create an ecosystem here in Malaga, it doesn't make sense. So this is a dry area, so most of the people should go where there's more greener places. But it's actually very interesting how we got a lot of help from people because they think this is an important mission. So again, this is my and this is probably something like a good basis for discussion. We think a startup is a place where some people think this is a good idea, and there are some people that tell you, oh, this is a completely crazy idea. Always, yeah, for you. It's like when you have that area, then you may be thinking about a startup. Because if it's a very good idea, there will be a lot of people trying to do it. So you're going to be facing a lot of competition. And if it's a really bad idea, maybe nobody is going to be following you. So if you're into this area, you're okay. In your case, for example, Busco Extra, everybody thinks it's a good idea. So maybe you need to be looking for someone that tells you this is a bad idea. Yeah, actually. So if you're around here, it's okay. Sorry, I'm trying to look for the next one. Okay. Why now? This is a question that you get most of the time from investors. This is a quote from Sequoia, one of the most famous investors in Silicon Valley. So anytime you meet one of the guys, you need to convince them about why do you want me to invest in your company now and not in 3 months and not before. It's like the timing, it is very, very important when seeking for money or advice or anything. So why now? And actually, I've been reading a lot of books, and if they try to rate about what is most important into the company, some of them think timing is the most important thing for starting a startup. I don't know what is your experience. Some of the people say, the team is very, very important, or the idea is the most important thing. But I think timing is more and more really, really important. You know that probably Airbnb thing, and their idea was a little bit into the scenario of about dying like 3 times because they were too early into the market, but they didn't know how to do it. So answering this question, it will be key, especially for you guys that you are meeting. Also, Andreas, an investor, on Friday too. So he's gonna be asking, why now? Why do you want my money now? Okay, it's about idea, product. Again, we think first, great idea, then build a great product, and then you decide to build a great company, not before. There are some people that think, okay, first create a company and then we'll think about what to do and everything. This is the path that resonates with me, maybe not with you. You at Beamopolis, you're thinking it's like about what kind of product or product service, and maybe you have the company first and you're with the team, so you're struggling. I think you have time now to move into look for the great idea and then create a great product and then move into a great company. I don't know. Do you have something different in your mind?
Makes sense.
It makes sense? Yeah, okay. You have a wide experience, I mean, and
because the idea by himself is not have any value. So
no, that's true. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of ideas about internet, and maybe every day you can come up to an idea in internet.
Without right execution, that's no value at all.
That's right, and there are some people that think execution is 100 times more difficult than the idea. I mean, you can come up to an idea very quickly, but then executing is key. I mean, you're the right team, you have the right people. It's true. Build something users love, and this is something that maybe you have in mind. I don't know, what is your experience? Maybe you've been launching different companies up and down and everything, but we think love could be in between. And the next slide, it is a very tricky one because in the beginning I didn't really understand, but the more I think about it, the more I like this idea. Okay. There are 2 ways, or we could see 2 ways of having a product. Maybe you have a lot of users that like your product, but they don't love your product, so only a tiny one, or a really small number of users that really love your product. What do you think is best? Having a large amount of users that like your product, or a tiny amount of users that love your product?
If you're starting, maybe lovers is the best.
This one,
yeah,
to the right end.
To the bigger audience.
It is, okay, and maybe we need to be thinking that love somehow, or likeness is you cannot have both. I mean, it would be great to have both, but most of the startups, the good startups, they think the most important thing is to have a tiny amount of users that really love your product, because that could create somehow a momentum. That could be like a bump for you, and that could create also something about having some kind of virality or something, because if someone could give your product have a good opinion, maybe that could lead to this. So again, I think it's really most important to be doing really products that you love more than. Okay. So And okay, there are a number of quotes that I think they are important for me, but maybe not for you. I think you should be fanatical also about what you're doing, and you need to be looking for people that really are fanatical about what you do. And this is key also. This extracts quite a lot about many of the talks. In the beginning, when you create a company, sometimes you think about looking for someone to sell your product and talk to someone that could resell your product every day. We think in the beginning you need to be looking at your users manually, so looking to them, talking to them, because they will be the ones that they will give you the feedback that you will need. So you need to be iterating with this. So you get the product, you show it to users, you get some feedback, and then you go back and rework and rework. And if you don't talk to the users directly, you will lose that. So if you put someone in between, like a proxy, someone that you're hiring to try to sell your product, you will lose all the feedback that they're coming to you. Again, this is something that you can say yes or no or anything. Anything you do, please do some metrics, trying to get some results, because this is about talking about traction. And if you're going to be asking for money after, you need to show that you're creating something with momentum, either visits or something that makes sense for you. But get track on that, and look for the key ones for you, and highlights when you're talking to anyone, an investor, anything. But really focus on the metrics, because everybody forget about it. And put the right ones, that it makes sense for your product. Team. I think almost every of you have a team already, but I like to talk about the co-founders. That is really important into your team. I don't know if you have already your team ready, or you're searching for someone to help you out. Or for us, the co-founders should be someone that complements you, and it is very resourceful. So he's able to do many things that you're not able to do. Someone that it could be working for many hours, need to pass something that I will talk about it later on, the animal test. But for me, a co-founder should be someone like James Bond, someone that you really think they're doing something amazing. Yeah. One of the key things about my co-founder, I really have him really high up, and I think he can complement me quite a lot. So I'm super happy to have him very close. That should be for everybody. And then know your co-founders, so spend time with them, but really quality time with them. That means a lot, because you're going to be spending probably 10 years of your life close to this person, and you need to know everything it makes sense for him. The next thing, try not to hire. This is the most common thing. When you get some money into the company, then you're thinking about hiring someone and bringing someone on board. We think the most important thing is try to pay the co-founders normally with shares. So I had a talk with you guys about having phantom shares or something in the beginning. Maybe it is too early, but have it in mind, you need to be compensating them with shares. It is a very nice things to do. Right now that you have all your shares with you. And then you need to convince also early investors to try to have this 10%. Normally they say 10% to reimburse these guys for the hard work they are doing. Of course, you need to be paying what we call sweat equity. That means that they need to earn those shares. So, but try not to hire. I've seen too many companies, and the other day I saw one of your spin-off that they were looking for a co-founder. Why? Because they are not able to hack. So they are going to be building an application, but there's nobody in the team that could hack.
But I find at first when you're trying to hire people, if your company is really small, a phantom share for this person is like shit. Is what why I want this person of your company when it's too small. I prefer you give me money every month.
Yeah, that's the thing. But because you don't have any money, you need to be paying with shares, and that is the thing. That is why you need to have a co-founder, not someone you're paying. Actually, the co-founders, they are the last ones to get any money from the
So you mean
from the
for
company.
the core team, no
For the core
extra-
team,
ah,
yeah.
okay.
So core team and early employees should be paid with some shares, but of course subject to vesting, and this is something we will talk later on in the shareholders agreement. That means that we need to be seeing each other for a few months or a few years until you earn those shares. But try not to hire in the beginning. So the idea is that you will need to talk a lot to people and trying to convince them to be that they are part of your business, but not they are going to be getting out of your business. Maybe you don't like that, but if you think this is not resonating with you, get the best people, and that is very complicated, especially in technology companies, because you know how difficult it is to find good people around. But this is like getting married. Actually, I think it's much more complicated than getting married, because you can split very quickly, but in companies splitting, that is very complicated, and most of the time companies die. We also think that mediocre engineers do not build great companies. You need to be talking to someone that really knows what is going on. So 3 questions. Are they smart? The one that is sitting, do they get things done? Because there are a lot of people who talk, especially in startups. Yeah, we can do this, but nothing is done. So if they get things done, it's great. And then the last one, do I want to spend a lot of time around them?
And it's worse than marriage.
It's worse than marriage. I mean, now you're
You can't
thinking.
get divorced.
You can't get divorced. That's the point. Yeah. Yeah. So probably resonates with you. There are a few things also that we think they are quite important. Good communication skills, so they will be able to convey the message, and that is a problem when talking to techie people. So most of them, they don't have any good communication skills, but they need to build that. Manically determined, pass the animal test. The animal test, what is it? It's like sometimes you're referring, okay, he's a rat, he's like a horse, he's like an elephant, so if you have an animal to put for that person, that means it's probably very good, okay? And the last one, that you need to bring someone that you feel comfortable reporting to them. Why is that? Because you never know how the hierarchy is going to be moving also within the company. And I've seen too many people that they've been hired in the company and suddenly they are at the CEO position. I think you hire a CEO also externally from another company. You had some issues around it, and I know. And one of our companies, Urban Clouds, the CEO a couple of months ago stepped off to allow external CEO to get into the company. But that external CEO was an employee of this person, so it's been like a step up. So think about someone that you think you are going to be okay to report to them. Maybe okay. The most important, you're hired the best. Now keep them around. So they need to be happy with you, working with you. It is very complicated to try to reimburse these guys about what they're going to be doing, but think about how to pay back also about what they're doing. Next thing, fire fast. So within your company, you have to have a way of hiring someone quickly, but also firing up quickly. So if you bring someone that is a marketing responsible and they are not doing the job, the other guys could fire them out. Okay. This is very, very tough, but you need to have something in your shareholder agreements. Very complicated to get people out of companies in the beginning. So, execution is about doing the things. Okay, for us, the CEO have somehow 5 roles. First, set the vision, raise money, evangelize, hire and manage, and make sure the entire company executes. We have different CEOs here. And maybe you agree or you don't agree about this. So if you're a CEO of there are some others, no? Like what? Like doing the proper job or anything? Yeah, this is make sure the entire company executes. Sometimes it's part of your job because the CEO is with the same color, but I think this is what you're doing. And if you're not doing that, most of the time you're having an issue. Raise money, I think it should be every time. It doesn't matter if you're raising or not, but you have in mind you need to raise money. Important focus. Can you get it done? Yeah, most of the people, they get diverted, especially technology people. Look, I mean, can we play a little bit more with this? Can you do this? Come on, focus. I mean, if you need to launch something quickly, it doesn't matter. Go and launch something. So if you don't feel embarrassed about what you launch, it is too late. For me, it is too late. You need to get this embarrassment thing. It's like, come on. But this is the first beta version, but we need to go out. Yeah.
We felt lots of turbulence speaking with investors or others that we are not doing that right and do more to communicate. This is exactly what
the focus, yeah. Sometimes you can externalize some part of like raise money. I can get help from someone. But actually the thing about raising money, I don't think it could be externalized completely. But I agree with you. I mean, losing focus is probably one of the major problems that you will have all the time. So what are you spending most of the time and the money on? And what are the 2 or 3 most important things? All the time. And communicate. So focus. Say no a lot. So, for example, like the meeting we have this morning, I mean, the guys were saying, oh, why did you put a battery on? Why don't you put this on? Why don't you put, what about the camera? What about the Wi-Fi? What about, it's like, no. You need to be like a goalkeeper. It's like, out. We're going to be doing this. I'm very good at doing this, but do it quickly. Okay, overarching goals and communicate all the time. You need to be communicating, especially with your team about what you're doing. And intensity, I think it is very important in the beginning, especially in the first months. You need to be very intense. I mean, and that will create a lot of trouble about your psychology and the psychology all around you. And we will talk a lot about this in the next week. We'll have Miriam, which is a psychologist, and she's been also an entrepreneur, and she's been also dealing with this. I've been dealing with also some psychological problems because of starting up a company. But think about this intensity as a key thing. Yeah. So a little bit of obsession, and especially execution quality about what you're doing is very, very good. Otherwise, no. Yeah. This is more for when you're talking to external people. Every time you talk to them, they got new things done. It is like, okay, you will be meeting an investor again, and I don't know when you met him, probably a couple of months ago? July. So it's about 2 months ago. So you have to get a lot of good news and put it very clearly in the front. So since July we met, we have been doing this, and this. That shows somehow momentum. If he doesn't see that, always keep the momentum. This is something that resonates with me. Keep on, and always keep on growing. I mean, no matter what is your growing, it is either users or likes in your Facebook or whatever. This is the most important thing. Sales fix everything. You don't know how stressful it could be for a company without any sales, but suddenly when someone is ringing the bell, it's like we got the first client, that clears completely out. and everybody gets very happy. So think about going out and get something quickly, some shipping product, launching new features, and have a rhythm of it. Okay, this is a quote for Henry Ford. It's important, and this is talking about the competitors. I mean, the most important thems, they are the ones that they don't even look at you and keep on and forget about anything, and they do things better all the time. Henry Ford, yeah. Very important, don't spend more money than the one you have. And especially if you apply for funds in Spain, like ENISAs and everything, it's very easy that they give you 50,000 euros. Or you apply also in your previous company to Cedeti, no? Was it Cedeti? And how much do you raise? I mean, 300K. 300K. And you completely...
You spend all of it.
All of it, very quickly. And then you realize it's like, what? It's like, and maybe you do quite a lot of with 50K, but they are yours. But when you get some money from someone, you spend like crazy. So don't spend more money. Develop a personal connection. So be very, very close to them. Today we've been visiting one of the companies here, Torsa, which is quite a big company, electronics and everything. And we do have some sort of a personal connection. And this is very important to do it very quickly also. Because you need to be very persistent also. So we know we'll give a thank, and then tomorrow we'll say, okay, you were talking about Vodafone, you were talking about this other company, you were please, again and again and again, asking for it. Be very persistent. You need that. And again, this is something very important also that you say. Sometimes you meet someone and you don't know what you want from them. But you need to be very specific about what you want from them. Today probably was the first day, and you're not going to be asking to marry you or to give you the money or everything, but next meeting you need to be very specific. I want you as a business angel. I want you as a... I think I like what you do with the electronics. I want you as an industrial someone. So be very specific. Don't get away of it. Do it. I mean, they don't want to socialize with you. They are spending their time with you. Yeah, sales and marketing. Everybody should be, but okay, this is more for everybody, for anybody. I need to finish quite early. Yeah, and this is half an hour already. Okay, this is a very nice story. I think you need to have your story also inbuilt in your everyday talk. And this is actually one of the business cards you have, and it's from one of the guys from Airbnb, and it's exactly their story, how it happened. And they were writing this to a journalist at the back of the Airbnb thing. And here you could see like the process. It's like product market fit. Yeah, see, he was explaining to everybody. Go meet the people. It's like we didn't meet the people in the beginning, and then that is the story. It's like they launch, and then suddenly TechCrunch has like an amazing news about them. They got a lot of hype, and then very good, and then it started to go down and decrease, and there was a crash of ineptitude. They were not able to do anything. They had a sorrow problem. They were all weeping and everything, and suddenly they had wiggles of false hope. They thought everything was going, and then it started to up. So it was actually their story. I mean, how difficult it was. I think you need to have a story also about your startup. It's very nice. People will remember you about the stories. So that was it that I wanted to talk to you. It's about, and this is about all. So that was it. I don't know if you want to have any talk or any comments, or is it something that resonates with you, or yeah? Okay, you have the full talk also in how to start a startup. So there are about 90 minutes talk about all the details and everything if you want to continue. and the presentation in case you want to do anything, please. So for many of you, this is like a refreshing thing that no, I already did it. But some of the things, I need someone to remember me these things most of the time. Okay? That was it? Thank you. Thank you.